Hey y'all, welcome back to our In His Creation segment here on YouTube. This is where I look at the garden, I look what's going on, I look at the planting and the growing and all the different things that we're doing in the garden, and I wanted to get a place to be able to share all of that with you. And so here on YouTube, once a week usually is what I try to do, is where you'll get that. And it's a lot of what's going on in my life. It's a lot of what's going on in the garden. It is just goodness of God right here, and what I guess I'm learning at Sky Gardens on a daily basis. So my name's Skylar, and I'm so glad that you're here. So today what we're going to talk about is actually, this past weekend was just hard. Not even gonna lie, it was just hard, and we had quite a few different things happen, and it's one of those weekends that, you know, if we're not careful, can lead us into just like, what in the world's going on, and like, why in the world, God, is this happening this way? This is Simba, by the way. If you haven't met him yet, he is our cat. He is adorable and so loving, but kind of annoying sometimes too. But with this, so last Friday, the whole area was expecting rain, and we were expecting rain at the farm, and we didn't get a drop like all day long. It's one of those things, you know, we're closing out August, and this is a business, so we have to make money in order to be able to continue. And August had been a lot slower than last year's August. A lot slower, to the point that I was like, man, God, I don't know what exactly is going on here, because we have to be able to make money in order to survive and plant more things and grow more things, right? And it had been so hot in August, y'all. So hot. And it finally cooled off, and then it was this torrential downpour in Lubbock on Friday. And I was like, you know, that's okay, because we can still be open at the farm. This is great. And not very many people showed up that evening either. And I know it's because they thought that we were just drenched in water out here, but we weren't. And so it was kind of a struggle. And then Saturday came, and still not a super duper busy day, but it was good. It was good. And everybody that came out, were so grateful that they came, and I hope that they had, you know, just an awesome time out here and were able to see Jesus here. But it just wasn't crazy busy, which is okay, right? I mean, that's like all okay, but I'm just a bit down because we didn't get any of that rain too. We really need the rain. And I was just like, man, God, what's going on here? And Sunday comes, it's my sister's birthday, so we celebrated her. And I normally don't get on social media and try not to be on my phone at all on that day. And I got on for a second. Got on my phone because I saw an email pop up, and it said that you've been left a new review on Google. And usually, like, I love to look at reviews because we hadn't had a bad one up to this point. But let me tell you, it was a bad one. And so I opened the review up, and I see what, you know, I'm still excited. So I'm like, oh yeah, a review, like, great. I wonder who it is, like what they said, like, this is great. But a lot of people, it seemed like they had a great time at the farm over the weekend. And it was a 1-star review, and it said something like, there's a dirt road to get to this place, and it looks like they haven't pulled a weed in years. And, you know, like, that's like a shot to the heart in a way. And the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, God defines me. Whoever this guy is doesn't define me. Whatever he has to say, he doesn't even know who I am. Like, he's not in my inner circle. He is not a part of the farm. He doesn't know, right? And so I know all this to be a fact. But words can have power, whether we want them to or not. And so I want to talk about our reaction to bad comments, because I think this is something that, whether it's a mean comment, a hateful comment, a bad comment, a true comment, or a not true comment. I mean, for one, if it's a true comment, and coming from truth and somebody who is trusted advisor of yours, that's totally different than, you know, some weird outsider that it's like, you don't even know our story. You don't even know what we're doing here, because we've never claimed to be perfect. Like, that's not something that we've ever claimed on the farm to do. We've claimed to be serving the one true God that is doing something really awesome and amazing out here. And so my mom, she you know, I could really tell, because eventually I got it out to my family, and I said, we just got left a review that yes, I did. I started crying because it hurt a little bit, and it shouldn't hurt. I know it shouldn't, but it did. And I said, we just got left a review, da-da-da-da-da. And my mom's face, like, I looked at her, and she's like on the verge of almost like a laughing like response, because she knows that this guy has no idea what he's talking about, and that is just a rude, hateful comment. And God is doing so much here, right? And my family knew that, and they all rallied around me. And my family, like, they are the people who I know are walking with Jesus, and they're talking to Jesus, and they know what is going on here, right? And so those are people that I trust. If they walked up to me and said, Skylar, you know that the flower farm is down a dirt road, and it looks like you haven't pulled a weed in years, that would be different, right? But it wasn't them. It wasn't. And so to have those people around me to be able to, like, that's the most important thing. One, I think, whenever you have mean comments that come in like that, because people are always going to say things, and we're going to have people that are just rude. But whenever comments like that come, for one, find good people who you can trust and you know believe in Jesus and are working hard to follow him every day. And those people, let them be the ones who are your advisors and your critics and help lead you down a correct path, right? And then two, I think whenever we're walking in the Spirit and not in the flesh, our reaction to these things can be totally different. So, you know, whenever that comment comes across and I hear your farm is down a dirt road and it looks like you haven't pulled a weed in years, that hurts me sometimes, because I'm thinking that this is my doing. Like, all of this is my doing, and it's not God in that. Like, even if I'm thinking this is God's doing, right, that makes me want to defend God. I'm like, what? My God is all powerful and he can do this, right? But in Galatians 5 verse 16 is where we're going to start. It says, I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contention, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, hearsays, envy, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and of the like, which I told you beforehand, just as I told you in time past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. And so if I react to that out of my selfish ambition, saying this is like a weed-free farm, and I'm out here pouring out my heart and soul all the time, that's totally different than the fruit of the Spirit being love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such there is no law. And those who are Christ have crucified the flesh and its passions and desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, or envying one another, right? And so if I'm walking in the Spirit, then whenever I hear that comment, and I know it to not be true, then a peace can overflow within me, because that's just not the case, right? Like, that's just not who God says that I am, or says that this farm is. And I can trust my advisors and my people that are around me to hold me accountable, to tell me, hey, no, this is true, like, this is something that you need to, like, listen to, or hey, this is something that you need to throw out and, like, never ever ever hear, because it came from the devil and it is not a good thing. And you don't need to worry about it. Right? I think that really points us to being unoffended in these words that are sometimes said to us that can really, really hurt. But if we are living in the Spirit and we are choosing to choose Jesus every day, then what we are going to find is that we are not offended by things like this. Really, by anything. We can choose every single second of every single day to be offended or to not be offended by whatever comment is said. If it's my sister saying something, or if it's somebody else, and we can choose to not be offended, to take it to God, to say, hey God, is this really what you say about the farm? And to hear him say, no, you can hear me in this place. Like, you can see me in this place. You are sharing this place with people, even through the dirt roads and through the weeds. That is what is important, right? I think that goes over here to 1 Corinthians 3, verse 5. Paul is talking here. He says, who then is Paul? Who is Apollos? But ministers through whom you believed, as the Lord gave to each one. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. So then neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but God who gives the increase. Now he who plants and he who waters are one, and each one will receive his own reward according to his own labor. But God gives the increase. This is not ours. This is not ours at all. And so for someone to say something like that, God is increasing this farm. It is not me. I planted it here. But everything that has happened on this farm, even he's watering, and I'm watering a lot of days. But he blessed us with 1.5 inches of rain on Monday, so yesterday. And man, he just waters so well because God gives the increase. And so in this, I want you to hear 3 things. 1, whenever mean comments come, that's what we're talking about. Whenever mean, hateful, rude comments come about whatever this is, have a group of advisors that you can trust and that can tell you the truth about what is true, about what God says is true. And if they laugh at a comment like that, then guess what? You walk in the Spirit and laugh at it too. Because God will give you so much peace in knowing that that's just simply not truth. Right? 2, we have to be unoffended in that. And my mom has a book that she always has on audio. And it is called Unoffended. Or maybe Unoffendable. I don't even know. But whatever it is, it talks the whole time about how we can choose how we react to things. And we can't choose what happens to us, but we can choose how we react. And we can choose to not be offended by things. And I think that is huge. So choose to not be offended by mean comments. That's number 2. Okay? And number 3, it's all his. It is all his. And so keep that at the forefront of everything, because whenever you get those comments, take it to him and say, God, is this true about you? Is this something? Pray about it. God, do you really want me to stop being a flower farmer because this guy said that we are down a dirt road and it looks like we haven't pulled a weed in years? I'm telling you. Just drives me crazy sometimes. I'm over here struggling with the peace of this because there is so much work, and and that's how a lot of these things are. It's like, how in the world could that even be said about whatever is going on, right? But it's all his. And at the end of the day, that's what is true, and that is what is known. And so, have the advisors. Be unoffended by walking in the Spirit, because if you walk in the Spirit, you will be unoffended by these things. And you won't be out of selfish ambition that you're insulted by this. It'll be, no, I have peace because this is good. And 3, it is God's, and take it to him, right? Crazy. It's been quite the weekend, let me tell you. And whenever all those things start piling up, whenever the money thing starts piling up and the comments thing starts piling up, you know, sometimes it doesn't even matter how many people say, oh, this is amazing, this is beautiful, thank you for, you know, doing this. And I'm just like, it's God's, it's God's, it's God's, it's God's. And then those comments, the good comments, they can't go to my head either, right? Because it's not mine, it's His. He is providing the increase. So good. So good. We serve a good, good God. He wants great things for us. And He doesn't want me stuck on that comment, right? So, thank y'all so much for joining us here today. I hope that this is encouraging to you, and that if you're struggling with people saying mean things about you, or, you know, whatever it is, I know it sounds like such a little thing whenever we say it out loud. It's like, oh, people said something mean about, but I know it can strike at your heart whenever you feel like you're just, I mean, this is how this is how I was looking at it. Like, I'm just working my hardest to try to get all of those things taken care of and done, and provide a beautiful place for God to do exactly what He needs to do. But it makes you question all the things, you know? So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Simba is definitely so needy, it's not even funny. I'm about to drop him. But that's okay. I did see Pete just now got out of his cage, so I'm gonna have to go rescue him, get him back. And I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in, and truly encourage other people with this. If you're encouraged with this, send it to your friend, whoever. And remember that your worth is not in anything anybody says. It's in God, and it's all His. So thank y'all, and we will see you next time.